Welcome back to Parabox, yet another series where I struggle to describe even the most basic of principles. But at least this world's center should be a little bit easier. It's entirely based around the idea that whenever you enter a box, you appear in the center. And that doesn't only apply to the player character, that applies to anything pushed inside of the box. So while I might not be able to do much of anything with this block while it's pushed up against the wall, if I push it out, push it back in, it's right in the middle. And this entire world is based around that. It is a much easier idea to grasp than, say, trying to explain how, I don't know, like pushing a box into itself and out of itself, the ins and outs of how that's supposed to work. But, I don't know, I mean, at the same time, it can get kind of tricky in some ways. But at least for the start here, and before I even get into any one of the red levels, it's not too bad, to be honest. Yeah, here you can see if you push it up and down, that will allow you to just push it out the right side of that. You know, it's still based around Sokoban, just Sokoban in a very curious way. And this I like because it's just a play on that previous level where, you know, you don't have that extra little corner to push stuff into, so you gotta be a little bit trickier about how you do it. But as it turns out, it's not even all that bad, because just go up, down, and then I'll push it right into this square, and there. Now I can manipulate the red square just as much as I want, get it right into the center, and done. And actually, I'm already almost done with this world. But like I said, I'm still planning to do every single one of the worlds that I possibly can, because I don't know, I guess I'm starting to struggle a little bit more with this game. This is the first episode now, the second episode, I suppose, where I've actually started to try and practice some of the levels because I know just how difficult they can possibly be. Oh, this is kind of a clever one. So I can push this one up, push this back down here, and then, yeah, you know, you push it to the right into the area. But now I have that place on the left that is no longer, I can no longer push that into the block. So what do? Well, you just push it down, push it right back up. Tripped me up for a little bit when I first saw that, but yeah, just it teaches you to look at everything from every side that you possibly can. Because after all, much like with the way that the copies of puzzles with inside puzzles work, remember that appearing on there is the same thing as just walking over from this puzzle and going over here. That's one of the things that's always helped me a lot as I've been trying to do the puzzles in this game, kind of like thinking less about the puzzles as you can see them, like as they look, and more about thinking, yeah, oh yeah, this one right here. So if you try to go down here, the middle is blocked. So what do? Well, you gotta push that block out of the way. Yes, it is a two-way street. Not only does everything always appear in the middle, you also need to go into the middle to be able to actually enter boxes. So that is another one that is going to be used. I want to say that concept probably going to be used a lot more for puzzles compared to, say, yeah, like the idea that you can put that whenever you push stuff into things, it appears in the middle. So for example, this one really gets a concrete idea of that knowledge, because it can't go in through the top, can't go in through the right bottom, have to go in through the left. Same thing right here. Same thing right here. Right into the center of everything. Oh, yeah, it looks very confusing. A lot of these puzzles look very confusing, but I feel like once especially maybe as you're doing them, it's a lot easier to understand. I don't know, or maybe I just am bad at explaining things like I was saying at the start of the episode. I think that is definitely a distinct possibility. And then here, you can't really go from this side. However, you know, you have multiple entrance and exits to each one of these things. Well, at least allegedly. In reality, you only have one, the one that is in the middle. Oh man, look at that next level. Is that where it starts to get extraordinarily complicated again? Oh yes. But let's finish up the rest of these here first. Oh, all right. So this is based around the concept that if something is blocking square from absorbing stuff, then it won't be able to do that. And that's exactly why you're given this setup right here. Because you're supposed to look at this in a way where I can get into the green square and move off of it into here without like pushing it into a corner. Which thankfully, with exactly 3 blocks, it's going to take 2 blocks to get to the center there. And then 1 block to kind of sit in this corner to sort of provide a buffer against the wall. However, I do want to make sure that I get at least one of those blocks on the bottom first, since I can't really push all 3 of them at once. I only have so many areas that will work in there. That said, this should do it. Yeah, now I can no longer push it into that next block, so I'll go in there. And then right onto the solution. Okay. Oh, yes. This is so easy and at the same time so complicated because you're gonna Sokoban your way out of being able to solve the puzzle if you just like try and push it right down here. Because the only way that you're gonna be able to get past the entrance is by, well, doing it like that. And now even if I try and push it out of here, it's still against the wall. Which is why you gotta be very tricky with how you do this. They give you a lot of space here to start out with for good reason. And actually, that's not what I wanted to do. They give you a lot of space here to start out with because you're supposed to do it like this. Okay, there we go. And then go in from the side, kind of push it out of the way, and there. Now I can manipulate this block as much as I want to without accidentally locking myself out of the solution to the puzzle. Oh, and this one, same basic thing. Just remember that it always appears in the center when you push it out. Because obviously I can't push this up. You know, I can push this all the way over here and everything, but I can't push the block up. However, because it always appears in the center, there. Now that gives me just the right amount of space to be able to push that into the solution and finish it up. Oh, and then this is another very clever sort of Sokoban way of looking at this. Okay, so you see how when I push this in here, that it's like that? The only way I can get around this block to be able to push it out is to go up and behind it. And that is exactly why I have this right angle block that looks exactly like that. It's very cute because, yeah, that means then I can make this still a way to get in here without blocking myself off from using either one of those blocks. So you just do that. Use that right angle block just in that way, and then just push everything out. Too far. It's that is the same sort of thing that I was talking about in the first episode of this, where there are some very clever uses of the normal Sokoban puzzle game that can only be done in a game like this. All right, same basic thing. Just gotta center everything. And if this is in the center, when I try to go in from the top, that means I'll push it right out of the way. Try to go in from the left, make sure I don't get that box stuck against the wall. And yeah, that should be everything to solve the puzzle. But before I do, in fact, solve the puzzle, one of the things I was told last time that I did not know about, apparently this only appears if you're looking in the controls of the game, you can make any puzzle like these. If you press 7 on the keyboard. Yes, there's even another view too. And then every single one of these can be seen as a ASCII version of it, including like the overworld. Look at that. That's really interesting. But of course, I'm going to keep it ASCII as it exists just purely because, well, I don't know. I'm just going to keep the puzzles as they look from the beginning. Okay, and then other thing, what am I doing here? So everything has an opening on the right side. You can just kind of think of it as like pushing it through like that, all right? Then I have a box in 2. If I just keep... every single box is connected to each other, so... So I can just kind of like push it one way or the other to make this all work extremely easily. Oh, although I do actually, yeah, due to the way that the box 2 works, I want to push this in from this side and then push it out from here. Yeah, go from box 3 so that I don't accidentally Sogabound myself into an unwinnable situation. Push that onto there and then back into box 1 to solve it. Also, funny enough, there is even another thing that you can do on the keyboard, which this one's a little bit less useful, but hey. Pressing 8. Ooh, get some vaporwave colors. But yeah, 7 will give you some interesting looks at how everything... God, just like look at that. You can see 1 right there. You can see the box right there. And it all works in the exact same way. It's a very, very interesting way... very interesting way to play the game if you so choose to. It is entirely possible, but I feel like whatever the version that is given to you at the beginning is probably that's going to be the way that I end up doing it. So now we got 2 different puzzles down here. Kind of a light green one and a dark green one. They look pretty much identical, but when I go in one, clone. What does that mean? Okay. Here we go, another very difficult for me to explain sort of puzzle. Did you notice in like the center one, they got these little things just to show that you wouldn't be able to go in through the... Yeah, I know, I'm just stalling it out. Okay. Okay, so... How do you even... The light green one is the dark green one. If you go into the light green one, you appear in the dark green one, or whatever the color happens to be. If you go into the lighter pastel version of it, you appear in the other one. These are actually, this is just okay, programming term again, a reference to the second box. These are not 2 different worlds, they're the same world. It's just, if I enter from here, I enter into the green one. If I enter into the light green one, I appear in the green one. And that's how this one works. Oh, are there going to be some interesting things done with this? Oh, boy, are there. And that works for everything. So, for example, the light green one will send me directly to the dark green one. So I can push this one out, push it right into the dark green one, which you can see, it appeared in the dark green one. And then I can go into the dark green one and push it right out. And that's going to be true for everything. So, for example, can push that right out of there from here. Can push that right out in the bottom just by using the... Oh, that sort of deal. Look, if you understand this, you understand pointers. That's cool, right? You ever see there's like a pointer or something? It's like, this is what it is. It is an object that points to a specific like data on your computer that exists elsewhere, even though the pointer can exist over here, something like that. Okay, well, this is, again, I am, despite having the name Doctor, I think it's pretty clear that I don't actually know how to explain things very well. All right, but you can really just think of it in the same sort of way as a, you can think of it in the same sort of way as a lot of the other puzzles, for example, that, you know, have multiple instances of themselves, you know, are recursively exist within each other. Because, except this one is even more malleable, because you're able to push the pieces of the puzzle in whatever way you need to make it work for you. So yeah, here I only need to go from the bottom and the left, so push it right up here. Yeah, instead of trying to walk off the edge of the puzzle, now you can have a second area of the puzzle to make it work. Is this anything? Does this make any sense at all? I don't know. Well, anyway. Keep in mind all of the stuff that you learned in the open area, because using it there, that's a solution to the puzzle. And then from here, oh yes, now we're starting to go and get the recursive puzzles combined with the new stuff. So yeah, for example, you go out from the lighter green one each time. And that's an important part of the solution. Here, same sort of thing. However, what I'm going to need to do is push the darker green one up here because otherwise can't really... it's sort of harder to manipulate the... You know, you can do a bunch of real wacky, wild things with the... You can do a bunch of like really wacky and wild things with the recursive boxes because when they exist inside each other. You can't do as many wacky and wild things with the clone boxes. I guess it's called... I'm currently in clone 10 right now. Let's just call them clone boxes, I suppose. However, it's like they still do exist as real boxes that exist in the world. They exist in ways to manipulate them. It's just you'll never be able to go inside of one of the clone boxes because they're always tied to another box that exists in that way. You can actually think of them in some ways. You know, I was saying that keeping in mind what the entrances and exits for each one of the boxes are, and I feel like that makes it a little bit easier in terms of trying to understand how a lot of these puzzles work. You can think of these as one-way doors, where in a sense, it just gives you only one direction that you can enter the box from, and they cannot be exited. They're entry-only boxes. I said that I was going to explain this extremely bad, and I feel like I definitely am living up to that promise. Cool and great. Okay, I'm going to need to extrude one of these boxes from the prime box. So I think the best way to do this is to get the recursive box in there, get another one of the clone boxes in here, then pretty much, yeah, just like push it down here, push the clone box out. And although I can't actually absorb that other box into the clone box because I'm there. That's why they give you two of these exits, just to make it easier to kind of push stuff around, manipulate things in the right way. Oh yeah, this is kind of clever, where, you know, pushing it in here will then push it down to my one-way clone box, and then you just push it right back out to get it in the right situation. Sokoban in multiple dimensions. And then, of course, you have the even more difficult version of it here as well, which this one, specifically, you can see they give you just enough area to push a box over, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Then otherwise kind of approaching things from the different sides. Because things aren't going to be coming out of the light green box. Things are going to be coming out of the normal green box. And yeah. If you had any more boxes than that, it would be probably impossible. But there weren't. Hence, that's why that was the solution to the puzzle, I suppose. Hoo boy. Okay. So first off, what I want to do is I want to be able to go in here, but I don't want to get the box up against the wall. Now, the entire reason of doing this is to then make the green box as a recursive box. Yes, this is the sort of way that you can actually create your own recursive boxes, right? Because by pushing it in here, now the green box is within the green box. So yeah, much like swap was, you could remove recursive boxes from themselves. This is a way that you can also create recursive boxes. Oh boy! I know, it's been so easy to figure out to this point, right? Okay, I want to get that box out first. Then what I want to do is I want to push you in here to become a recursive box. Push this on here to make sure that I have something on that area. And then, yeah, since I can just exit out through the recursive box onto the area, there we go. I think I'm starting to come up with some more concrete terms with how some of this stuff works. Oh, this is actually one of the first times that we'll see another very interesting thing. This is not actually the solution to the puzzle, but, well, I think it's cool anyway. So, you might be asking, what happens when, say, you enter a box, and then you enter a box, and then you enter a box ad infinitum? New type of paradox. That's right. If you have it set up so that you enter into a recursive box from a clone box at a place where you'll just continuously keep entering the same box, well, that causes, what is this called, a epsilon? Epsilon, that's the name of this character paradox, which kind of locks you out from everything. So let me just reset that one. Obviously not actually the solution. I still do want to have the whole recursive box, because it's one of those things where the only way I'm going to be able to soak up on myself into the actual solution to the puzzle is by creating a recursive box. But, yeah, I think that's just the first time that you're able to actually create that sort of paradox. A parabox, if you will. I feel like that one's a lot more of a parabox than the other one. Which, from what I thought about it a little bit more exactly how that worked. Why, say, despite the fact that it is the same sort of paradox when you push a recursive box into itself, it's like, and it doesn't work when you push it out of itself. Well, it's actually a little bit easier than I was kind of thinking about it, because, as it turns out, if you push a box out, if there is like a second instance of that box, then that would create infinite boxes in the same way. Like, for example, if you push a box into itself, then, well, due to the whole Sokoban constraints, you can only ever push one box into a box. Pushing a box out of itself, on the other hand, means that, well, now yeah, here's another center type of puzzle. If you push a box out of itself, if there is a second instance of that box, that would create two boxes on the same area. I swear this makes sense, please. Please just trust me here. Okay. Oh yeah, and then this entire thing. Just remember the center bit. But aside from that, these are all just different entryway points into the same puzzle that you already exist in. That's right. Can't really get that last one there, but easy enough to do. Oh yeah, this is kind of clever little one where it's just like, okay, push this on here, and then that'll appear in there. Extrude it right out. Got a very, I don't know, factory styling to this level, assembly line, just to make everything work. Because you do need quite a few of these different blocks here. Push that down into there. Push it out. Fortunately, yeah, I can't push it to the left because, as you can see... Oh, although I do need to actually, before I do that... Yeah, what I should do is I should push one block in here. For reasons that I think will become obvious immediately. Because I do need to be able to... Actually, I think I probably could have still solved the puzzle. Yeah, no, I'm thinking about it right now. Yeah, I would have still been able to solve the puzzle. Yeah, that would have been fine. And here, let's just do it like this. Or, don't do two at once, because otherwise that makes it so they can't really push it from anywhere. Get it up here. Kind of get this one up here. And then, of course, why not be able to push a clone block into a clone block? Yeah, I think I would have been... Yeah, I would have been able to easily solve that puzzle anyway. Because you just kind of do it like that. Do the old switcheroo, and then you can get each one of these blocks up here. Except for one, but I don't really need that one necessarily. Okay. Ooh, this is interesting. The clone blocks contain the blocks they reference. So whenever I go into one of these, I am going to be stuck in a recursive box sort of thing. Keep that in mind. But clone blocks can also be used to kind of to change the rooms that you're in. So just by pushing one into here. Although I have now lost one of my blocks, the clone block for the yellow one here, I'm not stuck, which is nice. Now I can just kind of go into here, push this one out. And then I don't even need to, I just need to push stuff out from here. Because that'll recurse that right into there, and yeah. Didn't even need to get that one away from the wall. Yeah, that all works. That functions just fine. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering, if you try and go outside of the puzzle whenever you see that yellow outline, you get that very loud theme that shows how you're embracing the infinite and unfortunately also making it impossible to win. You know how it goes. Okay. Given this in this way for good reason. I think I actually wanted to do that the other way. But yeah, you're given that little tiny corner there for good reason. Because now from here, I'm not going to be stuck in the recursive block. And from here, make sure that I have the room. Can go in here, push this back out. Right, and that is all 3 of the blocks I should need. And the reason why I have this is to make sure that the center concept is still working as well as it needs to. All right. Yes. And here's another one of those, here's maybe the first proper instance of that, of one of the alternate views of puzzles in here. All right. So I got 3 copies of the bottom left one. Got the proper bottom left one up here. I mean, first off, what I want to do is I want to go get the right angle thing out there. Kind of push it in here, push it from the bottom to get it out. Obviously, I am going to need it in the gray thing. And I'm also going to need to teleport or an entrance back into the green puzzle from here as well. So yeah. With this, just right angle myself over there. Now I can enter back into the green one. And from the green one, I can enter back into the yellow one. Now, I think I do actually... Yeah, and then here, you just want to make sure that I can recurse this. Because by recursing this, I can go out the top. And there we go. Using every one of the various puzzle solutions in that way. It's very clever. So, currently inside the one box, you can see that the one that has the inverted colors, that's not inverted colors, but like inverted color scheme. That's going to be the clone box. Because, that's one of those ones that I haven't really seen as of just yet. Oh, by the way, what does it look like when you cause a paradox in the ASCII version? Just creates an infinite box. Yep. And as you can see, that infinite box, while flashing an eye there, also is of the same coloring as a clone box. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know necessarily if that really comes up too much, but... because I don't really think you can enter any one of the paraboxes. But still, it's interesting to see it nonetheless. Alright, let's start it from about here. Going from the bottom, let's maybe be able to push that one out. And then if I push this also... Well, no, I don't want to push that from the bottom. I want to push this in a way that will be able to like absorb one of the other boxes. Well, I suppose I can get the 2 one right now. Yeah. There, now that one's out. And now I can go from the top to push this one out down here. And then I guess... Yeah, all I need to do is, because this is a recursed box, all I need to do is just go push this one up here, go inside of this box, and we're good. Clone is an interesting world. Yeah, I think that is... Ooh, this is a tough one. This is kind of a tough one to understand. Not like transfer, which is super easy. Well, okay, it is easier, I think, maybe conceptually. So how does transfer work? In a very fun, interesting way. Let's just get right into it. So, very few things that you can actually do at the start here. Why is it lined up like this? Because while normally it would be impossible to get into the puzzle solution area from here, if they are of the same size, or at least of the same relative scale, or even if they're not of the same relative scale, now that I'm thinking about it, as long as there's no way that I can push the box away, be able to exit the box and then push the box out of the corner, you can go through on whatever part that you go on. You're no longer confined to only using the whole center concept. Then here, push that right there. Go up, down, left, right on any part of the entrance or exit or whatever you would call it for each part of this. Here right now to begin with, the entire thing is trying to get each one of these boxes in a way so that I cannot push them out of the way. Which I suppose it would probably maybe be a little bit more useful if I just kind of showed what happens if you don't do that. Here, for example, I can push this in here. When I push this out, even if I try to go over here, you just exit the box instead. Which is why you need to get it in some sort of cramped location for it to actually work like that. Of which you can see that one little part on the top there makes that very easy to do that exact thing. There we go, and now I can transfer into the second row of this box. And you can see, much like how every single world sort of is shaped in a way that represents its a gimmick. Like here, for example, you can go in and out through slightly less centered means. All right, next one. Oh yes, okay. So this one, introducing you to a concept here that's going to become very important in a lot of the later puzzles. So as you can see, to be able to solve this, I need to be able to go up from this box here. Then I need to go left and then go right. And I need to make sure that I can go left and right and up on this box without making sure that it's pushed up against the wall the entire time, of which I think of all of the setups you could do with each of the blocks here, that this is the only area that's going to work. Because I can go up in here because that's against the wall, can go over here because that's against that wall, and then it's also against that wall, and solved. All right. Ooh, oh boy. So, obviously, you need a wall to make this entire transfer thing work. And that means that recursive boxes do tend to have walls within them even. So, for example, there, now I'm kind of pushed up against the wall there. Although that's actually not the one I wanted to do it for. I need to go push this block first. And then, yeah, I don't need to go into the box, because if I tried to go into the box, I would do that. However, since it is a recursive box, there are other ways to exit and enter, as you know. Same basic thing here as well. Send that right into the solution. Got another one of the clone blocks. Fun. And also actually not even all that bad, because, clone block will send me directly into the upper left version of the block that I'm currently at. Push that against the wall to make absolutely sure that I can actually get into the row that I need to, and there we go. That's how you do it. Despite the fact that your player character also appears within... Oh, I totally also skipped these two levels I'm noticing right now. I was wondering why these weren't activating. Well, Actually just kind of talked about how like this entire thing worked, so whatever, it's fine. yeah, and then it's like given this little corner here specifically because you got to do the old switcheroo. After you do one, you got to do the old switcheroo and do the other way around. Well, not the other way around necessarily, but got to push it against the other wall. There we go. Now get back to these. Yes, and using the whole center concept, as you can see again. This one is a little bit more obvious in how it works, though. Kind of the exact same way. And with those pushed up against each other and me in this block, just transfer right through in the non-center row. That is actually a very good introduction into that, the same sort of idea of that previous puzzle, but I think like a little bit easier to understand. Here, on the other hand... Actually, no, on the other hand, it's like, no, it's pretty much very similar sort of thing. I want to make sure that I have some sort of stopping power here. Do that. Oh, wait. Wait, don't get ahead of yourself. Remember to push that block out, because it's going to be kind of harder to get back in there otherwise. Yeah, because I need to be able to push the block on this side instead, of which a little bit difficult to soak up on in situations like this. Only a little bit, though. Frankly, it's not that bad. Oh, yeah, these things, you have to use like the boxes as supports to make sure that you can push all of the elements of the puzzle out of the corner when you no longer need to have them like that. So like, for example, I can push that there, and now I can just go push the box in the corner. Because otherwise, if you try and do this any other way, you're going to be able to get one of the boxes, but not both of them. And there's no way that you can really push the boxes that exist in the top level of the box into any one of the other boxes. No, they're just purely there to provide support so that you can do that exact move like that. Yes, yeah, another recursive type of puzzle. Well, really, all I should need to do should be to push it in here. And then, as you might remember from Swap, if a recursive puzzle is, pushed into like another level of puzzle, that just means that I can exit out into the green puzzle, push this here, and now it's up against the wall. There's no other way that I would be able to possibly get both the left and right side of it to be up against the wall. So you gotta kind of make do with a little bit more inventive type of solution. Okay, so same basic recursive puzzle type of thing as that previous one that I did. Where what I'm going to do is I'm going to go push this down here purely so then I can transfer between the two. Get this one out, kind of go out through the left side. And now the idea is going to be that I want to get this into the yellow block. The eventual end goal, being on the sort of like the top layer of a block, is that I'm currently in the blue block. So what I want to do is I can exit from here into this part. Yes, and I'm currently in the blue block. I can exit into the brown block, push this over here, push this right here, and now jump right out recursive style onto the top layer, which is again the blue block. And then I can jump out from the blue block onto the green block. I don't know. I find it easy to see. Yeah, whatever. Let's keep going. Plenty more transfer levels to do. Oh, yes. So what you want to do, because you can't have the blue block up against the left wall and the right wall at the same time, is to do pretty much the same thing that I did before. Use the clone block here to push this in. Actually, not to push that in, but, well, yeah, I mean, to push that in some ways. Look, I'm going to go up here, and then I'm going to go into the clone block. There we go. Because, yeah, it's just another alternate entrance into the block. So it's like I don't necessarily need to push that out to make it go against the wall. I just need to have some way of getting inside of there, even if it is just through a clone block. Yeah, you can see here that I'm just about to walk into a clone block that is in the middle of a bunch of other clone blocks. I mean, really, the easy thing to understand is that it's like, you know, pushing it from here just means that it comes out from the other side. It's very similar to having like a recursive block, but, you know, like not quite. You can also go from any one of the sides. See, if they're lined up like this, pretty much you are always on the edges of stuff. So, like transferring back and forth between the areas is like the same concept. All right. And same thing. It's like if I go from the bottom here, I should be able to push that one up, go in from this side, push that over there. And then I just need to push that up there and then, what to do? Oh, well, actually I don't need to do anything. That's why it's an L block in the first place. Because you can't go in through the right side here. You can only go in through the left and the top. Because if you try and go from here, yeah, it doesn't work. But that's why it's an L block. That's why it's got that right angle on it. Ooh, starting to get tricky. Starting to get very tricky. Okay. So, obviously, the actual blocks on the right side, these are 2 clone blocks. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to have the exit. Okay. I'm going to have to look and see wherever the exits are, the block that you enter from has to be the actual block. The block that you exit into has to be a clone block. And then you can also enter in from a clone block too. So first off here, to begin, I'm going to want to enter into a clone block. So let's just say this one right here. You'll throw it in the corner or whatever, because this is the place where I'm going to actually start out the puzzle. So I'm going to be exiting from the right side of the blue one's loop. So going to want to go here. Now I'm going to enter into the green one. And I want to exit into the blue one left side. And if I have those up against the wall in the way that this works, this means that I should be able to accomplish exactly what I need to, no problem at all. Very nice. Ha! Same sort of concept. Exact same sort of concept. And I can work from the beginning. So, first thing to note, I'm going to need to go in through the blue one. So let's push a blue one down here because I'm going to need to go in from this side. Okay. Now I am going to exit. Now that means that I'm going to enter into the blue one. I'm going to exit from the top of the blue one to where I want to go into a green one. So I can do that. Now I'm going to go back into a blue one. Okay. Which means, and then I'm going to exit into the yellow one. Yeah. And then exit from the yellow one. Oh, I do also need to remember to... What, can I... Yeah, I can just push this one down here. Because, yeah, I'm going to enter into the green one, then I'm going to exit into the blue one. Then I'm going to go from the blue one into the yellow one. Then I'm going to go from the yellow one into the blue one. And there we go. That should solve it in the exact way I need it to. Yes. Okay. So, start with, I need to enter from the blue one, so let's just go push a blue one up here, because I'm going to have to go in from that side. Alright, so from the blue one, I want to exit into the green one, so throw the clone one there. That'll work. Now, from the green one, I'm going to want to go up into the blue one. Yeah. So from the bottom... No, I actually want to go up into the green one. So from the green, so the green one actually needs to be next to the green one. So I think actually the best way to, actually taking a look at it right now, I think this is all I need to do to solve it, right? Yeah, go from the green one, then I'll go in from the bottom down to the blue one. Yeah, no, that'll do it. Yeah. Yeah, go from the green one into the green one. Well, it's a good thing that I have multiple green clone blocks. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Very tricky way to look at it, but makes sense, I think. I'm pretty sure it makes sense. Oh, uneven sort of stuff. But hey, this is just where you end up using the whole center concept, right? Because you push it in, push it right back out, it's going to be in the center. And you can use that, and then you can kind of soak-a-bun your way around here to make that exact thing work. Push that in the center there, go from the center to the center. Tricky, but not that hard. Oh, I see. So let me take a guess right now. If I try and go in here. Yeah, still too large for that. So I need to have it double nested. Boxes double nested within each other to get on the correct scale to be able to enter into this side of the box. Ooh, more uneven stuff. And I remember this one. Oh, I remember this puzzle only too well. Yeah, what you can do is you can push these out, and because of that, because it is, you know, a very exact sort of scale, you just kind of push it backwards like that. You have multiple ways to push blocks around here. Of course, that's the initial easy puzzle. This one, on the other hand, if I were to go in here, I can't go out from here because it won't line up correctly. I can go out from here. I can go both in and out from this side, which means that I need to go push each one of the blocks into this place. Interesting that there can exist like one-way doors in Parabox. I mean, just the fact that you can even make that work in the first place is weird. Now go from this side, push that one down there. And again, like a little bit uneven, but that means that what I can do is I can go up here and then push that one out. The unevenness works in my favor in this puzzle, but in some ways, I guess I'm glad that didn't really appear too much more in the rest of the game, because whoa Nelly. That could be hard to kind of understand. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I see what you're doing. It's the same thing as that other puzzle, but with the way that stuff is nested, I can't push it against the wall. But, you know, if I try to push it here, it'll just absorb that. That's why I got the clone block down here. That'll just send me directly into the blue one. Yeah. And then, oh, yeah, we're going all into it here, eh? So, needless to say, if I try and just, like, push stuff up against the wall here, does not line up well. This is actually maybe the most, the largest amount of spaces you can be in a square, in that yellow one that I think I've seen in the entire game. And same thing if I try and make it like at a different scale. Actually, is it just, I can't remember, is it just like this? I think it is. Oh yeah, you can see it lines up perfectly there. That's why you got that extra little bit of wall there. I got another one here. Oh yes, I do also remember this one. This is one of the few times that you actually get, like, red herring type of stuff in this game. No. The idea here is that you need to... you need to get, like, the transfer thing lined up properly so that you can actually get into the green block. But there are so many different things that you can push stuff into. So, first off, can I get these up against the wall? Because I need to have walls to actually do the transfer thing properly in the first place. Then from here... I can push this one into this block, push this block over here, and now I'll have a wall that I will be able to push the green block against, allowing me to transfer right into it. There we go. Nice and simple. An elegant solution for this modern day. Ooh, kind of a trippy sort of color scheme in this one, but also just in general... yeah, two identical type puzzles. Just use the center concept. Push these things in the area they would be in the center, and then push these up against the wall so I can get them out of there. Same thing here. There we go. That's a pretty simple one to understand. Oh, and I think this one might actually be one of the very first sort of super, like, ultra gimmicky type of levels that exist. There are a few of these blue outline areas. Usually up until this point, that's been used for the ASCII type of puzzles. There's also just some other unusual ones that exist here. For example, notice something special about these blocks. That's right, they have an even number of blocks within them. 2 by 2. How does the center concept work with 2 by 2 blocks? In a really weird way, as you'll see right here. So it's like super hard to get into the bottom left of this, which is why you need to go in, push it out, and then push it back in to have it centered in a weird way. Same thing here. So I'll push this one out, push it back in, and it appears in a different block because centering just works in just a really funky way when you have even number side, when the boxes have even sides on them. Yes, and this one, just entirely playing around with the fact the bottom left corner is so extremely difficult to get to. Okay, so I have an empty box in the upper left corner. I guess that's gonna be the way I end up approaching this. Yeah. Because what I can do, if I push that there, push this in here, then I push that one down there, and that'll work. From here, then I think it's just as simple as push up, and that should be good. And that one can take you a while to actually figure out. There's not a whole lot of even-sided boxes that exist in the game. I think it's really limited to just those 2 levels, but they're a weird look at how the engine works, certainly. Open. Oh man, yeah, I think this is going to be the last one for... Yeah, I've been doing this for an hour. I think this is going to be the last one for this episode. Look forward to the very shiny looking one down there next time. But until then, open. Well, I guess you can think of this as recursive boxes with open edges. And, you know, much as I found on the last area, pushing them against the walls means that you do just get extra walls to make this work, sort of. Same basic concept. A little bit uneven in how those work, but otherwise, you kind of get what they're going for here. It's an easy enough to understand type of area after doing transfer. And then kind of push that there. Recurse yourself right back outside, and we're good. Much like swap earlier, I guess it's not really intended that you're not intended to have to do too much with these puzzles. I mean, I still am, of course. Don't forget that I'm still going to do that. And oh yes, this is silly. All right, so I just want to kind of get everything into this area. You see how I'm given the one little tiny place over here? Well, that should have everything lined up against the wall to be able to transfer me right into the orange block like that. Oh, and this one, same sort of thing. See, it's not as large as the blue one because now I have a wall I can just push this against. And then I have this area so I can do the old transfer in and out. And there, that's a solution. And it makes sense. Multi-use blocks in that sort of way. And then we got more recursive nested boxes yet again here. So I mean, all right, so brown. I need to have a way to get out into brown, which means I don't want to push the brown one out of the blue block. I don't need the green block, so I'll push everything out of here. Yeah, I think that should be just fine. Then from the blue block, I can push the brown block out here. And that leaves only the brown block on the topmost layer, so there's the puzzle solution. And there we are. Same basic thing. It's just the actual puzzle solution is on the blue one. So make sure that I have the brown block to be able to get into the blue block. Or more specifically... Yes. I guess the brown block technically... You know, thinking about it right now, though, I guess I technically don't need the brown block. I just need the blue block. And I can do all my manipulation here from the green one. Yeah. Because you can see... the brown block is on the brown block layer. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that from the brown block, I push the blue block on the correct area. So not here. But like, yeah, here. Here we are. Push this onto the green block. Push this onto the brown block. And then... From the... I want to go... Oh, okay. No, I got this. Don't worry about me. All right, so I guess I want to go from the blue block then first. Yes, push this one to the green one. Because I'm about to go out into the green one. Yes, and then... No, you got to do that from the blue block, you idiot. Okay, brown will go out into blue. Okay, there. Yes, I don't know. What was I even thinking? Yes. You want the brown one to recurse into the blue block. It's very simple. So I don't need the purple block. I can kind of get rid of that one. Yeah, I do need the brown block here to be recursing into the recurse stuff. Don't really need the green block. So these ones will go up on top here. And then from the blue block, I'm going to push the brown block out and get the solution. There. Totally forgetting how to do some of this stuff here. Oh boy. Actually, no, this isn't too bad. All I need to do is make sure that I push it in from this side so that I can push it upwards and then push it out to the right. Yes. Because from here, I can go up against the wall and then push that directly out of there. That's actually a really simple one. Oh, yes, and then we have the old how to get around the Sokoban constraints. Now I need to go push that block upwards. Want to get it up against the ceiling, but the ceiling in the bottom left corner. So go from here, go from there. Then just use the center concepts to kind of make everything work. Yep. And then from here, I just go over here, push this down into the middle, and now I can get that right out into the solution area. There we go. And I don't really know if open necessarily refers to recursive stuff entirely, but certainly it started out that way. These ones are like a little bit different. I don't know. Kind of strange. And then of course we get one real fun recursive puzzle. But aside from being, I don't know, very zoomed in, this is like a pretty easy puzzle. Just push that one there. Nope, not like that. Then push that one there. But it looks cool. And then, oh yeah, here, of course, we get the full-on fractal block. All right. Fractal block containing clone blocks of... Okay, so it's a fractal block. It contains 8 clone blocks of itself, of which each one of them contain 8 clone blocks of themselves. All right, and I need to get 6 out of there. I have an 8 total. I'm not really going to be able to go from the top left easily, because I won't be able to push those out. But I should be able to push everything from down left and bottom right's easy enough. Yeah, we just like push that out, right? And then I can either go from the left or the top, whichever I feel like. All right, let's go from top, I suppose. And then go from the left, push that down. Then go from the top again to push this one out. Go from the left side this time, push that one out. And then go from the top, like I was saying, and that should kind of get everything out in the way that I need it to. Again, a very imposing looking puzzle, but ultimately not that difficult to actually solve. Hey, and next time, we're going to be going into Flip. Oh boy. Oh boy. This one, again, getting kind of it's only going to get trickier from here on out.